A goal gives you a direction to work towards. But just as important is looking back to see where you came from. And writing a year-end review is one way to do that. Derek Sivers once wrote about the idea that your year only changes when your life changes. That essentially, January 1st is meaningless on a personal level. It's a notion that I agree with, at least in theory, but that doesn't mean that you still can't choose to have January 1st as a symbolic new page. I used to do these year-end reviews on my birthday because that is literally my personal new year. But starting about 2 years ago, I started doing them at the end of the actual Gregorian calendar year. It made it easier to track my goals and plans, given that most of the world operates on that same calendar. The two most important resources for writing my year-end review are my journals and Google Photos. I have two journals, a bullet journal, which I write on a square notebook, and a digital long-form journal, which I write on Obsidian. There's a whole playlist about my journaling process, which you can check out after this. But what you need to know for the purposes of this video is that my bullet journal is more of a to-do list, while my long-form journal is a recap of my day. So what I do is I look at my to-do lists on the bullet journal to see the things that I've done over the last 12 months, places I've gone to, people I've seen, and activities I've engaged in. And as I do that, the memories of those things and events get triggered, and I write them down along with the corresponding dates. The next thing I do is go through those dates on my long-form journal and read what I wrote about those experiences. And then I look through Google Photos to see the photos that I took and see if any other memories come up. Like most things I do regularly, I have a template for this, and this template is divided into 3 sections. This is the section I write last, or second to the last. I usually write it on the first week of the new year. In this part, I describe briefly my New Year's Eve. I recap where I was and what I was doing leading up to the new year, and I stop right as the clock strikes midnight. This is the main part of the review, and it's written as a kind of listicle divided into 7 parts. The first is a list of challenges. I write about the difficulties I experienced that year. Family difficulties, professional difficulties, health, financial. I usually have between 3 to 5 things here. The next is a list of things I found exciting. Here, I celebrate the exciting things in my life. Maybe a trip I went on, a goal I achieved, or a new milestone. I also limit this to 3 to 5 things. Next is a list of my most expensive purchases. I don't include recurring big ticket items like rent. Instead, this is where I write about an online workshop I paid for, or the new sunglasses I got, or my running shoes. It's also important to write why I made these purchases. Next is a list called Some of My Favorite Things of the Year. And here, I write about the books, TV shows, films, podcasts, music, and apps that I discovered or found very helpful over the past 12 months. Next is moments, memories, and montage. And it's just a list of at least 10, but not more than 20 memories that I want to remember from the year. Positive, negative, in between, it doesn't really matter. All that matters is whether or not I want to remember those things. After that, it's a list of things I've learned or still learning. This can be literal, like I learned how to drive a car this year, or more philosophical, like how I'm learning to be more compassionate to myself. And then finally, the last part is a list of goals for the next year. I try to limit this to just 3 things. Section 3 is just actually the second half of section 1. I pick up right after midnight and recap how I started the new year. And I usually end on a high optimistic note. But your mileage may vary, especially after a year like 2021. This is an exercise I find very rewarding, and I have a group of friends that I share this with every year. But even if you don't write to share with anyone, I think it's still a valuable exercise in self-reflection. If you're new to this channel, my name is Ibrahim, and I make videos about introspection. And if it's your kind of thing, subscribe, and hit the bell so YouTube knows that you're into that self-development type shit. You're in good company. Happy New Year, and see you in the next one.